Okay, hello everybody. Hey, okay, I probably just lost like all my viewers from just that intro alone. It's Bruna here. Welcome to Show Me, the channel where I show you some media that I watch and listen to and all that stuff. So it's been a while. So this is actually gonna be a review. I had a whole bunch of TV shows and movies to watch, and I basically watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I actually know nothing about this. Let me get my iPad out. My baby. Let me give you some like research. I just wanted to see the year it was made. 2005, American romantic comedy directed by Judd Apatow. The titular 40-year-old virgin Andy, played by Steve Carrell, who's an employee at an electronics shop, and then his fellow employees, like coworkers, are trying to help him basically lose his virginity. And that's literally weird because they found out like, oh, you're 40 and you're still a virgin. No. And so yeah, that's like what the movie is about. It is like a 2000s comedy, so it has like that raunchy comedy kind of feel. Honestly, I love this freaking movie so much that I wanted to make this video because it just left me with so many positive feelings. Was it like influential and life-changing? No, but like it was literally a movie I enjoyed, and because I enjoyed it, I'm gonna make sure you guys enjoy it, or enjoy at least my review of it. So let's get started. First of all, disclaimer, this movie is not safe for work. A lot of references to like sex. There are some nude scenes. There are some not like super hardcore sex scenes, but like, I mean, it's there. A lot, like, again, nudity, a lot of cursing, a lot of raunchy jokes. So like, I wouldn't say it's safe for work. I would not watch it with my parents. I would not watch it with like my pastor. Not even my brother. You know, I wouldn't even watch it with my brother just because like it'd be weird, you know. Definitely very raunchy. Very raunchy. That's all I can tell you. Let me start with like what I didn't love in this movie, because for the most part, like I said, I love this movie so much. There's too much I like about it that like I have to share it. But there was one thing I didn't like about it, and my biggest complaint, and I wrote it down in my notes, so that's why I'm like looking at my notes. My biggest complaint is that it's a little bit too gratuitous. And I think the thing that bothered me the most was that some of the jokes just went on for too long. Oh my goodness, sometimes some of these jokes, like I would laugh and then the joke would keep going and keep going and keep going. And I know that like maybe that's the humor of the time and people actually enjoyed that. I saw a lot of comments where like it would show specific scenes and like people really liked it. They didn't complain about it in the comments. I was just like this is too much. Like not even too much like, oh, it's too gratuitous, like I'm just disgusted. Like too much like it's not funny. like for example, one that like is just off the top of my head, there's a scene where Paul Rudd's character, and this is where I need to get my freaking notes here. We got Paul Rudd's character Dave, and we have Seth Rogen's character Cal. They're like playing video games, and they're like doing this joke where it's like, you know how I know you're gay? You know how I know you're gay? And I know you're gay, and it would be like the other guy. You know how I know you're gay? And like the first few jokes were like okay, but then like it just kept going and going, and then it was like a break.
You know how I know you're gay? Yeah. You like Coldplay.
And then it would come back to that scene, and it kept going. I was just like, bruh, okay, I get it. Like you guys are gay, but not really. Like, bro, I don't want to hear this anymore. Like, give me back my stuff. Like, that's just like one example. It's just like these jokes are just like why? Either one, it's going on too long. You could have stopped it earlier and would have been fine, or two, it's just like it's not even funny. So yeah, it's just be like random things or like random scenes or like just scenes that got too long where it's just like the joke was just too much. And again, it's not me being like, oh my gosh, they're talking about that. Like the whole movie's about sex and about like being raunchy and about like curse words. So like that's not the problem. The problem is just like it was just going on too freaking long. That was my biggest complaint. That's actually one of my only complaints. Otherwise, I love the movie. So we're gonna talk about everything that I loved. I'm gonna save my big thing for the end, okay? I know y'all like to skip and stuff and not watch the full movie or watch the full video, but like I'll save it for the end. I just want to like get rid of some stuff that like I just really liked. So one thing I noticed was like, so he has three friends, like his three main friends who are like the catalyst of like kind of changing him and trying to make sure that he loses his virginity, but they all like have a different approach to how Andy should be losing his virginity and like how he should be doing these type of things. Paul Rudd's character Dave is like more of like a romantic type, and he's all about like he's still kind of like a freaking man slut, but he's like, yeah, it's all about love and you know, like all these things you can do and like becoming one.
Time stood still. It was like we were sharing the same heart.
Then you have like Jay, who like is played by Romany Malco, and he's more of like the fun one. So he's like, no, you need to do this so you can have fun with this girl and then you can have fun with this girl. Like he's all about like fun, and like he probably, I don't know, he be around the block.
Sharing the same heart. That's like some Britney Spears shit, man. This is 3 grown ass men. Don't nobody want to hear that shit.
And then you have Cowell, played by Seth Rogen's character, and he's like the sarcastic one of the group. And he's like very like deadpan, very straightforward. Still like, you know, gets around the block, but he's like the more straightforward one, the more sarcastic one, the one who's more like, okay, bye.
Look, he's got a billion toys.
So what?
And more video games than a teenaged Asian kid.
So I just like these different aspects of the characters, and I like, first of all, I just like the relationship between all 4 of them. Like, I just like seeing friendship. I really love friendship in movies, and especially love friendship between men. You think their relationship is surface level because all they talk about is the same things, like sports and sex and girls and all that stuff. But like when you really like kind of pull back between the curtains, like, oh no, these people are actually friends. They pretend like it's surface level, but they actually care about each other. And so like, I really appreciate that part of the movie. I just really like friendship in movies. I like friendship in media, and I like to see like how everyone is like, while they are the same, obviously they're the same because they're friends, like everyone has their own distinct personalities, and they like, you know, they complement each other and they play off each other, and it's just like, it's just fun. It's just fun to see that. Another thing I noticed for the friendship group, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but it happened enough where I was just like, okay, like maybe Dave always wore blue, not always, but like most of the time wore blue. Jay almost always wore green, and I really wanted Seth Rogen's character to be freaking red, like hello, but it wasn't. It was like gray. Most of the time he just wore gray, which made sense. He was very sarcastic, he was very like deadpan, like I said, so like it made sense that his color was like gray. Again, I don't know if it was on purpose, like maybe like the actors got to pick their own shirts out. You know, in media, not just like movies, but like in anything in media, it's like there's like a joke where it's like the teacher will try to give you, like, try to make you interpret what the blue shirt means. Oh, maybe his blue shirt means that he's really, really sad. And then like the student is like, or maybe he just likes the color blue, you know? So it's like sometimes it can mean something, where like when these people are wearing these certain things or like have a color, or sometimes it could just literally be like they just like that color. So like I don't know if it meant something that Jay was always wearing green and that Dave was always wearing blue, or if it was just like they just like those colors. But I noticed it enough that I had to point it out. Okay, so these are like those are just like 2 little tiny things. So let's talk about the real meat and potatoes of the movie. I am a woman and I love the romance of this movie. It's a romantic comedy, even though it's weird. It's a romantic comedy. I feel like that's geared, of course, geared towards women, but like one that's geared towards men. I think generally everyone can generally enjoy it, but like based on the humor and like the people in it, it's like a romantic comedy for men, which is like really cool, because like you don't think, oh, romantic comedy men. I like to form my own opinions, of course, but I also like to see like what other people think. And I realized that not a lot of people like the romantic part of the movie, apparently. I'm not gonna say like the majority of people, because that's not true. I only saw like a few comments, but like apparently some people don't like the romantic aspect of this movie. They thought the movie should have been mostly like the comedy side, especially like when they were in the stores. I saw a lot of comments on some of the scenes. It would be like, oh yeah, I wish the movie was just this, like just the store comedy, like just the store, because like once you bring the romance in, it's like not worth it. And I was like, no, because I actually love the romance more. I thought it was a funny movie. I like the comedy. I didn't hate the comedy, but I love the romance in this movie so much. Like it was just chef's kiss. I'm a sucker for sweet romance. Not too dramatic. There was hardly any drama in this movie, and honestly the romance was kind of like very slow. Like it was like she was introduced early in the movie, but like it took a while, like maybe halfway through the movie, for the love interest to be introduced. Trish is a love interest. I just really like Trish. I feel like Trish is like really good for him, because she's also kind of socially awkward, but not in the sense of like she's super shy, you know, super shy. Anyways, not in the sense that she's super shy. Like she can still talk to people. She's not that type of socially awkward. It's more socially awkward. It's like the things she says are awkward, whereas Andy is like socially awkward. Like he needs mental help. Like he needs help for real. I just thought they had like a really sweet love. Like she was always so supportive of him. And like the things that he said that were kind of weird, like she never laughed at him. She never like criticized him for it too much. She just kind of like rolled with the punches. And I think that's like is a really good testament to her character. One thing that stood out to me so much, and I have to give props to the actress, Catherine Keener. I loved how much she like, in her delivery of her lines for Trish, it was like she laughed so much. So she'd be like, you know, I really don't know. And it's just like, like I'm not doing it well, but I loved like just seeing her interact with Andy, because she always had like this big giant smile on her face, and she was always so supportive of him. It's like, I just like her delivery of the character. I just love it. You know, I don't know, man. Like the whole romance is just so cute. Like it's just so accepting of each other. And I'm just a sucker for people who kind of need help. Like Andy needs help in life, obviously, but like I like it when people don't make fun of those type of people. Like they just kind of like, they're just like, you know what, you're a little bit strange, but like we can go with this. Like I can point out what's positive about you, and we'll just figure it out. We'll just figure it out together.
I'm really glad we're doing this.
Me too.
Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, like the real last thing I really want to talk about, is like how this movie kind of like expresses virginity, I guess. Like kind of talks about virginity and talks about like sex and all that stuff. I like that this movie doesn't really treat Andy like he's like a weirdo, even though like in the whole movie, the whole premise is him trying to lose his virginity and having his 3 like friends like have different methods of him like losing his virginity. I like that Andy's big thing is like, I'm not this type of person to just be having sex all the time and like to just lose my virginity. Like I am not that type of person. And like he kind of, as the movie goes on, he kind of resists being that person. And you know, he realizes that like he doesn't want these, like he doesn't want to find like drunk girls or like just, I was about to say simple girls, just girls that like, you know, sleep around. That's not the type of person he is. He wants to find like a stable relationship with a girl that he likes, and the girl that he likes is Trish, and he's okay with waiting until they're both ready. And then even when he's not ready, Trish, once she gets the full story, she's okay with waiting as well. And by the end of it, even though like this line kind of like made me iffy because I don't know how I feel too much about it, but by the end of it, it's like he even says, you know, it's not weird. I realized that I always thought I was weird for not losing my virginity, but I realized I was waiting for you. But the whole idea is that yes, the movie presents itself as if like virginity is like a weird thing, but by the end of the movie you realize that no, the movie is like both on the side of like, yes, you can be sexually active, but you can also be a person who sleeps with one person in your whole life, and that's okay. Or you can be a person who's a virgin for your whole life, and that's okay. Trish has like a daughter who really wants to lose her virginity. She's like a teenager. She really wants to lose her virginity. And so because Andy wants some like sex ed, he takes her to like basically like this teenage program where they talk about sex and all that stuff. And everyone's kind of making fun of Trish for being a virgin. And then Andy even says like, you know, I'm a virgin, and you know, it's a preference. Like if you want to be a virgin, you can be a virgin. If you don't want to be a virgin, you don't have to be a virgin. But like it's not something that's like good or bad. Like you're just that. Like you're just a virgin, bro.
Oh, you know what? It's a personal choice, and I don't think it's weird at all.
And it's a preference. And I just like, again, like the movie kind of presents itself like, oh no, virginity is bad, but that's not what it's all about, you know? It's like, in a way, it's kind of saying like, no, it's okay. It's like the ultimate thing is like, it's a preference. Like you lose it the way you want to lose it with the people that you want to lose it to, you know? And even aside from virginity, sex too. Like you can have sex with who you want, whether it's one person or a whole bunch of people, even though for me personally, I would recommend not having it with a whole bunch of people. But like, again, like that's not the point. The point is you do what you want with your body, as long as you're safe and as long as you're enjoying it and the other person is enjoying it. Like that's the whole point. And I really appreciate the movie for that. And even beyond that, like I relate to Andy so much, not the socially awkward part, but like with the relationship part. And I especially feel like in my generation, it's becoming more and more like people should be understanding him more, because he even says like, it's something that he thought would happen. He tried for it to happen and it never happened. And then he kind of just gave up, and then he just kind of like got comfortable with himself, and it just never happened, to the point where now he's 40. And it's like, I feel like that's very relatable especially if you're sheltered, like I was sheltered. You know, you just kind of, you watch movies and you're like, oh yeah, romance is gonna happen, and it doesn't happen. And then you get to the point where you're just comfortable with yourself, and so you don't even really try. I'm like saying you, but I'm definitely talking about me. You know, I think Andy's like a really relatable character, where it's like, aside from all the socially awkward stuff where he's like, he can't drive and he like collects action, like aside from all that stuff, like his approach to relationships and like him trying to like navigate through romance despite the fact that he's not comfortable with it, you know? Like he wants romance, he wants to be in love, but like it's just not something that he's used to, so he's uncomfortable. That is so realistic and so relatable, and I'm so happy that like we have representation, because a lot of times in movies it's like you have like the socially awkward character, like the shy character who's never been romantic in their life, and it's like suddenly like one person shows them romantic interest and like boom, they're a whole new person, like they're super sexy and they're ready for everything. And there are people like that, but there are also people like Andy who it's like, yes, I'm ready, but like I'm scared, you know. And I feel like that's so relatable and that's so true. Like you get scared, you get nervous, especially when it's not familiar for you, especially when it's your first time. So I just really appreciate that. I appreciate the movie's approach on virginity. For me, what I feel like the movie was really showing was like, it's your preference. It's what you want to do. It's not weird if you're still a virgin at 40. What's weird is trying to change yourself and trying to morph yourself into something that you're not, you know, when in reality, you know, everyone knows like what they're really okay with. What's weird is me trying to like be them, be my 3 coworkers, you know, Dave, Cal, and Jay, and like have sex with anyone who I want to just because like they do it. No, I need to work on my own pace and like what I'm comfortable with. And like, that's what the movie's about to me. And I feel like that's helped me love it more. Okay, and then like another thing, just last thing. The one theory that I ever have in my brain, because I can only do one at a time, but one I have and one belief I have is that the media kind of portrays romance and sex especially in a way that like kind of pressures people, especially young people. So already we kind of already know. If you don't know, there's like a big thing where they don't really like for real teenagers to play teenagers in shows. It's like the teenagers play kids and the young adults play teenagers. That's why there's like this running joke where it's like, oh, these teenagers don't look like real teenagers, because they're not. They're like 20, sometimes even 30s playing like teenagers. But I feel as if because you have like these settings, these high school drama settings, like, you know, in high school, played by these like super mature looking adults, always having sex, always kissing, always in a relationship. The big thing is like romance. And I love romance. You know, obviously I just told you I love romance. But like the big thing is like romance. And like what do adults like when it comes to romance? Sex. So like you have like these teenagers having sex. You have these teenagers being in romantic relationships and like switching people and like all this stuff that happens. I feel like it kind of puts pressure on like kids and teenagers and young adults that like, oh, if you're not in high school having sex right now, you're a weirdo. And it's like, that's not true. And I feel like TikTok really helped me realize that like, I thought I was like the black sheep of everything, because again, like I was a more sheltered kid. I didn't have my first kiss in high school at all. I always thought that was really weird until TikTok happened, and like, you know, a whole bunch of other people would come out with their late bloomer stories. And then you realize like, it's not even just the people on TikTok, it's just everyone. Like there's a lot of people in the world, like well, let's just talk about America because that's where I live. In America, who like feel like late bloomers because they didn't do stuff in high school that other people were doing, or like that they see in TV, but they're not really late bloomers. I don't know. It's like a big giant topic, and like again, I don't really like I love theory, I just don't like thinking too much. But it's just like I'm always on the side of the late bloomers because I am a late bloomer myself, and I always feel like so sympathetic because I don't care that I have to catch up. Like, I mean, it does feel kind of weird, but you just find someone that you have to catch up with, you know? That's like my theory behind it. But I don't know, I guess I wanted to bring that part up. I don't really have too much to say about it. It's kind of like, again, it's like really complex to talk about. It seems simple, but it really is complex. But like, I guess that kind of relates to the movie as well, because he's 40 and a virgin, and I feel like a lot of people are hitting that point where it's like you're getting older and older, and like you feel like you're behind in life, you know, because you haven't done certain things that you feel like you should have done in high school or college, while like you look around and everyone else is doing that kind of stuff. And like, I guess that kind of relates so much, especially to my generation now. People who are coming out and being like, yeah, I'm a late bloomer, I'm like 20, I haven't done this, I'm 30, I haven't done this. And yeah, I think, I don't know, I feel like everyone should watch this movie and just get a little taste of like, you know, it's gonna happen soon, even if it doesn't happen, which I know no one wants to hear. But even if it doesn't happen, like, don't lose hope, you know? I guess that's like what I wanted to say. That's it. This video, as you can see, I have not done a video in so long. Oh my gosh, because I did not know what I was talking about. I hope you can like understand what I said. I always say this, but like I really hope you can understand what I said. understand like I'm trying to come across, and I also hope you like understand like how much I love this movie. I think everyone should watch it, and I really love it, you know. I just really love it. I don't know if there's like some weird bad blood in the history. I didn't pay for this movie anyway. I watched it on the United flight, so I don't know if United pays them for every watch, but I didn't pay for this movie. So I guess in a way I did, but like not really. So yeah, I think everyone should watch it. Not even if you don't like really care about like all the philosophical stuff and like the theory behind it, just like watch it for a good watch. Like it's like a good romance and like a pretty good comedy, like a decent comedy. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I didn't pick up this thing like one time in the movie. Yes, thank you so much for watching. Love you guys so much. I missed you guys so much. I'm sorry I didn't do anything. I've been like stressed out all day. But yeah, if you like the video, like the video. If you liked me, subscribe. If you want to talk about anything, especially a 40-year-old virgin, and especially like things like that, like leave me a comment. You can also follow me and DM me on my social media, which will be linked down below. Yeah, thank you so much for watching again. I missed you guys so much. Thank you for 10 subscribers. Woo! I don't know where number 10 came from. Like, who is number 10? YouTube doesn't really notify you when a subscriber subscribes, not like all the time. So like, I don't know who these people are. But thank you. I really appreciate it. It's like a nice little, it's like a dinner, you know? Like, I always like think about it in terms of like what it is in real numbers. It's like a dinner. We're eating dinner together. We're eating dinner and talking about movies together. I'm done. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much.